This is the wide world of Woo. Thanks for tuning in. We are taking it way back today and talking Prince Rakeem, who would later be the RZA with Ooh, I Love You, Rakeem. My name is Tyler. Andy is joining us. How you doing, Andy?
Not too bad.
What's new with you?
Enjoy. Not a whole lot. I do want to say thank you for the card, by the way.
For sure, dude.
I put it on my fridge.
It probably it probably showed up a little late. It was a little after New Year's, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's all right. I love the fact that I'm at the age where I get these things now. Like I have my brothers. It's
Right
pretty
on.
cool.
Yeah, man. Well, let's jump into probably a short episode today talking Prince Rakeem, aka the RZA's Ooh, I Love You, Rakeem. I can't say that title without saying ooh. It I can't do it any other way. So bear with me. But let's talk facts first. Ooh, I Love You, Rakeem was released July 1st, 1991, about 5 months after GZA the Genius debut, Words from the Genius. It came out on Tommy Boy Records and was his only release before being dropped from the label shortly thereafter. He claims it was in favor of House of Pain. I don't know if that's actually true. Have you ever heard that?
I've vaguely heard something like that. I believe Danny Boy from House of Pain is actually like an owner of Tommy Boy Records now or something like that. I don't remember,
Oh,
but
interesting.
yeah,
Danny Boy on Tommy Boy. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe that being the case. I guess there's only like so much budget that a label has, but I don't know. I've never heard of like you have to drop an act in order to add an act. I don't know if that's how it works.
I'm not 100% certain. I do know the very little history I know of Tommy Boy is they've done some people pretty dirty. Like
Okay.
De La Soul just got all the rights to their like first I don't even know how many, like five records.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean that's I know that about Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
So
They did I think they did Jock Jams. Does that sound
oh,
right?
I think that is probably right.
And Coolio maybe?
Yeah, that could be.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a very 90s institution. But yeah, I don't know much about it.
Most definitely.
So really, there are only three real songs for the entire release. There are 8 tracks, but that's with the remixes and instrumentals. Um, so we don't have a ton to talk about, but we'll dig into it. Two of the tracks, two of the three were produced entirely by the RZA. Sexcapades, the third was produced by the RZA along with Easy Mo B. Are you familiar with Easy Mo B at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was mostly familiar with him because he did a lot of the stuff on Ready to Die, Biggie's first album.
Right.
But I did not realize I was just reading about him a little bit earlier, and he worked with like Miles Davis. He's worked with a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah.
I've definitely heard his name, you know.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yep. I mean, he's pretty prolific. I also knew that he'd worked with Biggie and the Bad Boy roster and Tupac as well.
Yeah.
Um, so three songs, 8 tracks, two produced by RZA, two of the originals produced by RZA, Sexcapades RZA and Easy Mo B. Just one video. The I kept wanting to call it the title track, but it's not quite. The title of the album is Ooh, I Love You, Rakeem, and the first track is Ooh, We Love You, Rakeem. Did you notice that?
I did, because I
Okay.
kept calling it "Ooh, we love you, Rakeem," and then I was like, "Wait a minute."
Right. Yeah. I don't understand the disparity. Like, why is the album singular and the track is like plural? Did he collect more admirers with the song or something? I mean, maybe if you've seen the video. So there was just one video, and that's for that track. Did you have a chance to watch that video?
I I periodically watch that video.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay. What do you think of it?
it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Um, and especially after watching the Wu-Tang Saga, and because they go through that whole thing in an episode, basically. Um, it's pretty nuts to watch it now, especially after watching that episode, because you
yeah.
see like it was a big production. It was definitely like, especially after watching that video and then watching Protect Your Neck, it's like, wow, like
Hmm.
he really just went to like ground zero and totally revamped everything he was doing. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is. It's like part of it feels very 90s, like aspects of it, but at the same time, the production is so good. Like it,
Mhm.
I'm wondering, did he blow his entire Tommy Boy budget on this video? Like, it's just nuts. It's so good. I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of the quality, how did the Wu-Tang videos have such a low, gritty aspect? Maybe that's just because they wanted to match the music. What do you think?
I do kind of think it was like a matter of him just being like, we got to do this way, because he had that specific vision.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of feel like it almost in a way had this like sort of punk attitude of just like, let's just do it and
Right.
get it, you know,
Right.
like let's just put it out. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because I'm sure they did have a budget for the video from Tommy Boy, and Wu-Tang as they were getting going was pretty DIY, right?
yes,
Like Protect Your Neck was without a label, but yeah, so that makes sense. And whether that was fortuitous or planned or kind of coinciding with the grittiness, it all worked out, I think, for rebirthing as the RZA with the Wu-Tang Clan.
for
Um,
sure.
but we'll get into that a little bit later. The cover art, what do you think of the cover?
Okay, so I've always thought that that song, because I'd never really listened to the whole EP until recently. Like I think I'd probably heard it, but I'd never really like sat down to listen to it. But that song I was always just like, man, this is so corny. It's so funny because like of what he would end up doing.
Right, right.
But as I listen to it, I'm like, it's a solid 90s, like early 90s, late 80s hip hop
Yeah,
EP. Like there's actually not a lot I can really find wrong with it. It fits that genre and that era so well.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the cover art, as like goofy as it is, kind of matches the kind of lightheartedness of the EP. And the the comparison I want to make, which is probably way too simplistic, is the the title track, or the first track at least, Ooh, We Love You, Rakim, really reminds me of Biz Marquis's Just a Friend, in terms of like
Yeah,
the sing songiness. And so yeah, it's like that cover art is just like playful in kind of the same way, same lighthearted way.
it's very true.
Like the caricature, it's a caricature. Like the cover art is a caricature, and the songs are kind of caricatures. Like, as we would see, he could formulate his persona in different ways, and so this one was kind of like um the lady loving nice guy, or I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, well, more like a party, like the party guy,
Yeah, yeah,
which
party guy.
is, yeah, which is weird. Like, I mean, I guess it was the persona that he was portraying at the time, but it's just so weird because he's just such an introspective guy. You
Right,
know,
right,
like, it's
right.
weird that he was basing his career off of,
Mm,
a part of like something that could have been an aspect to his personality, but like definitely wasn't like portraying himself in the true light that he would eventually.
right. So different from who he would become on the Wu-Tang releases, on the Gravediggers releases, and his solo releases. So it makes me wonder, what would have happened if that was ultimately successful, if that had caught on, if he had, gotten a bigger a deal for more albums. If you would have really kept that up, if that would be the RZA that we know today, if you would be like a Bismarcky type character, it's I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, no, totally. Like I feel like he would have ended up probably being like a one hit wonder, either that, like getting shelved and being a one hit wonder, which ultimately it was what kind of happened until Wu-Tang,
Right.
or if he would have been like a part of like, I don't know, like the 90s like throwback thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, it is very much like that era, like Bismarcky, kid and play, like fun, you know, safe kind of sounding. Even
Right.
his voice sounds slightly different on it, which is weird. I don't know.
Yeah. In
Yeah, man, his career would have gone in a whole different direction.
right. Totally.
Yeah.
But what's neat is you can kind of see glimpses of movie, thoughts in a different direction, like references to Wu Tang or Deadly
Yeah.
Venoms, or some of
Hmm.
that like morose stuff a little bit. As we mentioned, it's definitely more of a party flavor, but there's little glimpses of the other side of Rakeem, the RZA. So
Yeah.
well, let's jump into the beats, bars, and top tracks because we really don't have that much to cover. Um, so I will say I instantly loved the beat for Deadly Venoms like a lot, like a lot, a
Yeah.
lot. And I was like, this is definitely my favorite by far. And it's evened out a little bit the more I've listened to the others, but um, I just love that Deadly Venoms like it's like a very short tight melody, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what instrument it is. Do you know? Is that like a clarinet or strings?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but that
Okay.
is actually the same reaction I had. It was like, this is the
Yeah.
track here that I think I most like can align with like RZA, and like from the title and everything, it kind of caught me
Right.
right away. So I was like,
Right.
okay. Although the beat is still a little bit more up tempo and
Yep.
funny, like, but it's, yeah, no, it's the best track on there for sure, I think.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. The title track it's like simple but effective, kind of like bouncy. Just, I just can't help but make that comparison with Just a Friend, even though that song is like a lot more piano and it's just like the sing-songy aspect of it. And
Yeah,
I'm sure there are actually better comparisons. They're just not popping into my head, but
it
um,
kind of makes me think of like LL Cool J and stuff like that too. Like just
right.
that, not like
Yeah.
early LL Cool J, but like that kind of like 90s LL Cool
Yeah.
J.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's you. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Like the kind of a little more laid back and like, yeah. Okay. And then the last one, Sexcapades. This one we have two versions of. We have the Wu Tang mix and the DMD mix. which if you're interested what that stands for, it's mentioned at one point in one of the lyrics on one of the songs. I can't remember if it's that one, but so the Wu-Tang mix is like the electric guitar lead is up a little bit. There might be a little bit more organ. I'm not sure. The DMD mix I feel like is more bouncy. Personally, I feel like I like the Wu-Tang mix a little bit more. I think it works that having that guitar lead works with the chorus a little bit more, which by the way, that's a great chorus. I didn't pick that up at first, but after a couple listens, it's been really getting stuck in my head. Really subtle melody. Um, but I like both versions okay. I think I like the Wu-Tang mix a little bit more. Um, for a score for beats, this one is kind of difficult because I do like them all, but that said, there are only really three or four of them, three and a half. If we're gonna say that the Sexcapades with two mixes is equal to a half. No, let's just say there are three. They're all good, and so, but there are only three. So I don't exactly know how to score it, but I'm gonna give it an 8. Just because I feel like that's a fair score for a good EP and some fun beats,
Yeah.
and especially for like a relative newcomer. All right, how about you? What do you got for beats?
I would have to say I would give it an 8. I would say I agree. It's a solid early 90s hip hop release. Like there's like I was saying earlier, I don't think there's anything I can find wrong with it. The production is good. It sounds really clear. It sounds more clear than Enter the 36 Chambers, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would have to say that I would give it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Um, so let's get to bars then. So Sexcapades. Uh, I love the Wu-Tang reference in that one. The whole song is kind of fun, and like the conversation with him and the person that he's courting. Um, I slid over like I was sliding to home base. Yes, I was successful using my special Wu-Tang slang that captured her brain. That's just very funny to me, thinking that anyone would be like captivated by like a dude using Wu-Tang slang.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
she replied, "Hi, my name is Charlene, but all my friends they call me Cha Cha." I said, "Word, now you can call me Rah Rah." And then right at the end of that verse, he follows it up. Now the Ra was on a mission to do the Humpty Hump in a vertical position, which is a good callback to the Ra Ra thing from earlier, and a good reference to Digital Underground and the Humpty Dance, which had just come out a year earlier at this point.
oh wow, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing I liked about this EP was on Deadly Venoms. You can kind of see his more like Gravedigger style for like little moments where he says, "I eject you with a dose of deadly venom. This is the way I like to parlay and amputate to the words I say. The tormentor take you on a mad adventure through an episode that's cold like the winter." It's like a little bit darker and more twisted than much of the other content on the EP.
For
Um,
sure.
let's see what I give this. I gave for bars. I gave this a 6.5. I mean, it's not bad. It's not brilliant. There's some fun moments, but for the most part, it doesn't stand out from like a lot of pop or party hip hop. So
Oh, for
6.5
sure.
for me. What did you think of bars?
I will give it a solid 6. I'll just say
Okay.
that just to be different.
Okay.
uh, um, no, I think once again it's really solid, but I do think yeah, no, from like I would say like 88 to 91, there was probably people making more party type hip hop with more conscious and better lyrics. Like you had people like Big Daddy Kane, you had people like Heavy D, you know,
Hmm.
who definitely they were making party records, but the lyrical content was a lot deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I would have to say the one I like the most is Deadly Venoms, just because it kind of spoke to me a little bit more,
Hmm.
what
Okay.
in tune with what I like. So as far as bars go, I think I like that song, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's like RZA's best
Yeah.
lyric, you
Right.
know. Yeah. So I'll say a solid six.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go to top tracks. I actually didn't write anything down. I don't know why I didn't write anything down. Um, but I can say I think it's Deadly Venoms for my top track. It's either that or Sexcapades, the Wu-Tang mix, because I really like that chorus. I think that chorus really and some of the funny lyrics in there. But I love that Deadly Venom sample so much that I'm gonna pick Deadly Venoms as my top track. Um, it it reminds me of like almost a little bit of no, I'm not even gonna say what it reminds me of because it's so ridiculous. It's like it reminds me of okay, I am gonna say it reminds me of like Jay-Z's Hova a little bit, and like, but also like Copeland's Rodeo, like the symphonic piece. I don't, and it's just like the way that that instrument, whether it's a clarinet or a string or something, just the way it like changes notes. Is like that melody is just so perfect, that really subtle, quick melody. So I'm going with Deadly Venoms for no other reason that than I love that sample so much. What about you for top track?
I'm gonna say that's my top track.
Okay.
Just all around, like lyrically, I like it the most. I would say instrumentally, I think it's the best song on there. But at the same time, Sexcapades is my top or is my runner up, I would say.
Okay. All right. And do you want to give your overall score first?
I would actually give this whole thing, oddly enough, I would give it an eight.
Okay.
Um, I said it a thousand times now, but it's solid. Like it's
Yeah.
production wise, it's really well produced. It sounds good through my headphones. It sounds good in my car. Like, and for that era and that time, it's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
So
I'm right there with you. I gave it a 7.5. It's fun. It's yeah, for its time, it's good. In terms of the quality of it is, I think, pretty high. It's RZA's maybe his first like foray into it's obviously his first release, but we get to see like uh little pieces of what would be important in Wu-Tang,
for
and
sure.
can kind of use it as like a yardstick for seeing how far or how much he changed in just a year or two when he put out the Wu-Tang demo and then Protect Your Neck, and then 2 years later with Enter the 36 Chambers, Enter the Wu-Tang. Um, so I think it's, kind of a weirdly important album because uh, I mean, I don't know if there would be Wu-Tang without this try and failure. It's an interesting thought exercise, but even just, alone, it's a fun record that, you know, I don't feel labored to listen to. It's an easy listen. In terms of where it fits in the whole Wu-Tang ranking, that's a little bit harder. I don't think it's like probably even top 20 or top 30, but I do enjoy it. Maybe it's top 30. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. It's an important album, but it's one that we don't often associate with Wu-Tang for obvious reasons. I mean, technically it's not a Wu-Tang, it's Prince Rakeem. Um, but I do think it's worth having a conversation about.
For sure. Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Any final thoughts on this short EP? Ooh, I love you, Rakim.
um, I guess I just have to agree with what you're saying, honestly, that it's it's an easy listen. It's important to know about it if you're a fan of Wu-Tang and the lineage of, you know, the Wu-Tang story, I
Yeah,
guess. But other than that, not really, no.
yeah. And if you haven't seen the video, go watch the video. The,
Yeah.
there's a moment like shortly into the beginning of it when he's walking, he's like cutting in line for this theater performance, and everyone's checking him out, and he like vigorously starts just scratching his head. Did you notice that he like scratches it for like 5 seconds? I'm like, what's going on? And then he gets into the theater, and he's also in the production, which we're about to watch. So it's kind of fun. Definitely a lighthearted viewing. Um,
I
but
do like how he's like zooming through everything. Like they got him like on some cart or something, and he's just
right,
like
right, yeah, like he's on a conveyor belt or something.
Uh, it's
Yeah,
so of its era.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is Prince Rakeem, the RZA's "Ooh, I Love You, Rakeem," and we will catch you next time for our next episode. Bye, everyone.
Right.